We're back in the news center now with Denise Gitsham and Scott Bolden, and part of me says, just for the sake of flow of the show, I want to keep going right into this and talk about Rubio and the war and everything else. But I know Denise was kind of doing one of these. She got cut off on the Graham Plattner conversation right before our last break. I know you wanted to make one point about that, and what was that point?
I did. Yeah, I wanted to say that for a Democratic Party that has always tried to hold, the high ground, the moral high ground about racism and misogyny, to not be able to see what every other American can see about Graham Plattner, a guy who has a Nazi swastika on his chest and who has told women who've accused others of rape that they need to act like adults. He is an offense to the very fabric of what we stand for as Americans. This is not a partisan issue. He has no rights being a dog catcher, much less sitting and representing his state, a state where I went to college, a state that I love deeply, Maine, in the U.S. Senate.
There you go.
So wait a minute.
He puts them in a tough spot. I agree with that part.
I'll give up the Maine, our Democratic candidate in Maine, if you give up Donald Trump for the same reason.
Paxton.
Okay,
right?
what's the next
I thought you were going to say Paxton, Scott. That was easier.
Paxton in Texas versus
there's a long list of them. Go right ahead. That's you're being very inconsistent.
Yeah, it's probably like all those multiple wrongs don't make a right or some other phrase about it, but that both parties have to deal with.
I'll trade you, Scott.
It is a tough spot. Not to say Republicans don't have their own tough spots, but this is, I agree with Denise, a tough one for Democrats. Now, on what happened today for Rubio, how do you see that? So, Scott, let me start with you. He's testifying about a war, and it's one thing for, Cory Booker or somebody to say what he said in the Senate, but how do you see this politically for this president at this time? The longer it drags on as we get closer to midterms and, gas prices stay elevated, and how, much of a political problem it is, not for him, but for other Republicans.
His approval numbers are in the 30s. It's a problem for the Republicans and Donald Trump, and it is the making. It is because of his own political terrorism and economic terrorism. He voluntarily went into Iran. We know Iran is a bad actor, but we know they weren't in a threat, and as a result, the Sea of Hormuz is closed. We got gas prices that are higher. We've got inflation, and we've got all that, and we've got an oil crisis in this country, all because we decided to go to war. Now, I'm not saying Iran's not a bad actor and we need to do something, but at least 5 prior presidents chose not to do this. Now, that being said, how do we get out? And now the discussion is all about getting out, but the U.S. and Israel and Iraq and Lebanon are still bombing each other. I don't care what the rhetoric is about a ceasefire.
On the Israel question, Denise, that's also, a political minefield for the Republicans in some ways about how Jewish voters will take in the Trump versus Netanyahu. Netanyahu, to Scott's point, apparently still lobbing bombs towards Lebanon, even after this phone call is reported to have gone off the rails between the two of them. The Axios article was something else last night, saying that Trump said to Netanyahu, "You're effing crazy," and was just fuming at him in this call. You'd be in prison if it wasn't for me. I'm saving you, and everybody. And the last line's interesting. Everybody hates Israel because of this. The president is reported to have said to the Israeli Prime Minister.
He's got a hot temper, but I just do want to address something Scott said earlier, because I know that he doesn't mean it, but he said it, and it's worth repeating, because he called Donald Trump's moves against Iran terroristic. And I think this is where Democrats are losing Americans. Iran is the leading world state sponsor of terror. When you start flipping that narrative to call an American president who's trying to stop a nuclear bomb from ending in the hands of the world's leading state sponsor of terror, you have lost the freaking plot. Period, full stop. I don't believe, back to your question about Israel, I don't believe that any nation should give up its right to defend itself. If you knew anything about the long history of what Iran has been doing through Hezbollah to terrorize the people of Israel over and over, to launch terrorist attacks that the world has roundly condemned, that the UN has roundly condemned and done nothing about, and you understood, if you were there, if you were an Israeli living in those areas, you would want your government to do everything it could to protect yourself from the protected, enclave in Lebanon of Hezbollah. And this is something the world should be around. It grosses me out.
Trump's
it makes me disgusted that we don't.
The world
is not standing up.
But Denise, apparently Trump's fed up with it, with Netanyahu and the way way he's going about it.
Trump's political. I don't believe that Trump has a say over what happens in Israel. This is about Israel to defend for itself. Israel has its own interests. We do not vote for Netanyahu. I am disgusted that the UN, the useless UN, has done absolutely nothing to stand up against the terrorism in the area and has forced us to do that.
Earlier, because I don't know if you want to clarify anything on in terms of how you characterize the war. I know you don't agree with the policy.
Terrorism?
No, I called him an economic terrorist because he has attacked our economy and started a war that has cost the world economy at issue. He's a political terrorist too. But let me just say this.
Sure.
No one is saying that Israel doesn't have a right to defend itself and to protect its people. And the U.S. certainly wants that. But what Donald Trump's frustration is, to his credit, is that you can't starve out Gaza. You can't bomb out Gaza. You can't bomb out Lebanon in a war
right now.
and kill tens of thousands of people and at the same time say, I'm doing this to protect Israel. Well, let's go after the terrorists then, because it's those terrorists that have terrorized
That's what we're doing, Hezbollah.
Israelites. But you can't kill tens of thousands of people and not be strategic in your attacks on them. You can't starve out folks in Gaza and bomb them out saying, I'm going after terrorists. You've got to be more strategic about it. And the world has condemned. They have condemned what Israel has done in regard to Gaza. And they have condemned the loss of life. And what you're hearing from Donald Trump is this frustration with where's the line between the protecting Israelis and going after terrorists, and then the number of lives lost as a result.
I do also think it's interesting we found out about that frustration, and that there was some reason, it appears, at least as maybe somebody in the White House or the United States wanted us to find out about it.
Sure,
the story got out. Denise,
Elite.
Scott, thank you, for all the time. We appreciate it today.